Exactly 9 a.m. Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Barigi and I'm with Charlotte, Ronnie Charlotte, as we are discussing matters on that. But of course, before we proceed into any related discussion, I still have to remind you, Smart 24 TV, grateful for all our viewers that is across the entire continent. Talking about Africa, North Africa, West Africa, South Africa, East Africa, and of course in Uganda here. And you can always link up with us on our social media platforms. That is on Twitter at Smart24 TV strictly, and also Facebook Smart24 TV official. You can still get us there as we post these open up discussions. Be a part of them, as of course, your opinion matters a lot when it comes to it being broadcasted. We definitely pick out those opinions and we discuss them to further details. And for those that have GOTV, talking about decoders, DSTV channel 372 and the GOTV channel 320. And I understand our brothers and sisters, it's the millennial era, so much obsessed with gadgets. Well, we have the Smart Digital application for you. Go to your Google Play Store, type in Smart Digital application, you will be able to get this application. And the beauty about this application is that you can stream Smart 24 TV, Smart FM, and then BS radio. And Smart 24.tv, that's the official website. You're a business researcher, you are at an institute of business, and you have this coursework and you need facts, up-to-date facts. Well, you need to go to Smart 24.tv. We always have those updated facts for you. There and on YouTube, Smart 24 TV Live, as we bring you the latest trends in business and the technology at the same time. Now, heading back to our topic of discussion of the day, I'm with Charlotte in this hour to break this up. But before we proceed into anything, Charlotte, I would love to hear your opinion, your view in relation to merging of government agencies. Do you think it is appropriate? Is it okay, and why?
Like we had discussed earlier with Mercy in the morning, in the first hour, merging of the different
agencies
of the government, it would actually help save trillions of money and billions. But at the end of the day, the civil servants we have, the members of parliament we have, are going to find a way to actually fight it. Because at the end of the day, if they are actually merged and become one agency, it means the other people that are actually employed would actually not make money anymore. And you find that they would have to find other jobs. So when they look at it in that way, they believe they're not gaining in any way. But of course, as a country, we would be gaining because we would be able to save lots of money that can actually do other things to help the country develop in so many ways, yes.
I was thinking of the aftermath of this merging together. You mentioned, when you were discussing, you mentioned something about people losing jobs. Because I think Ministry of Public Service is, because I believe it's the leading ministry, it's the one actually supposed to do this. They're trying to see how they can minimize actually people losing jobs, whereby compensations. One of the members of parliament from the NRM side mentioned about 74 billion for compensation, and even those people that have not been to the standard of what they expect, they can be transferred somewhere else, and all that, to trying to minimize that. So, but the question is, will they meet what they have said? I mean, fulfilling their promise, because we've seen scenarios of promises of something with this government, and sometimes things don't really move as we anticipate. Anyway, we are getting used to this. Then you mentioned something about saving money. Now, okay, we're saving the money, but don't you think if we have merged institutions, like you have, let me say, the UNRA being put into the Ministry of Tourism, seeing the Uganda Wildlife Authority now, and now it's Ministry of Tourism. Well,
I personally feel it's going to save, yes. But first things first, Uganda as a country has to first fight Gambanogu, that is one. Because when you have that, that means when this person leaves, immediately they're going to go back where they were before, even if they don't deserve to be there. They need to have and hire professionals for the positions they actually deserve to be in, known to hire people because the person knows someone in the parliament or someone is related to a minister of a particular caliber. And we also have to fight corruption, because at the end of the day, if we have corruption, if we talk about merging of the agencies in the government or the ministries, it's not going to happen. Because at the end of the day, these people are thinking about their pockets. So if we fight the corruption and connecting people to jobs because you know someone, and this is something that is actually causing unemployment in the country as a Uganda, because you study, you're very good at your job, and you're actually better than the person that is there, but the person is there because they have connections.
Exactly.
They are there because of corruption. At the end of the day, the connections, it is because of what? Corruption. So if this happens at the end of the day, if they fight corruption and we say we are saving, we are trying to make one institute out of these ones that are so many, that means we would have one that would actually benefit the country. And when they talk about compensation, like you're asking, compensation, yes, we know our government promises us so many things. And we never get to see them. They'll tell us, oh, Ugandans, you're going to be compensated. You remember the money that was being sent to mobile money after the COVID incidents?
I remember.
The people who got the money, when you actually get to know how they got the money, it is because
they
friend
knew somebody
is working in the company where they're actually sending the money from.
Okay.
And this money was actually supposed to go to the people, or Muntu Wawansi, like we always say.
Yeah.
But the people who got the money actually had something they can actually eat. For people who did have food in these times, they never got to see this money.
Okay.
We were being told to pay OTT. Are you telling me that the people in the cabinet or in the MPs they wouldn't have been paying the OTT? Because they told us this OTT was supposed to do this. You said it put up a telecom company. It didn't happen.
I was assuming actually part of what we can say.
And then they usually ask for trillions. They wanted to invest in the education sector. You go to the government schools we have here in Uganda, and the schools are looking terrible. The toilets, the infrastructure, terrible. The teachers look very sad. The teachers look like they're fed up of their jobs. The teachers who have been there for the past 20 years are the teachers who are still there. You cannot tell me that these are the only teachers we have. So if they're talking about compensation, I would actually leave after I have been compensated. That's when I would leave the office and say, you know, I've been compensated, now I can go. It is like coming to your land and someone says they're going to take your land and they don't give you money before you leave. Of course, when they sit on the land, there's no way you're going to say you were never compensated. So I feel if they're going to do the merging, the people that are actually going to be laid off should be compensated now before they actually remove their jobs. So that when it happens, this person is content and they can just walk away at the end of the day.
Wow. A very interesting idea.
Yeah.
But me, at some point, I felt like this is some of these agencies have been a clear link through with the private sector, where government can actually speak to Omuntu Wawansi, link directly with Omuntu Wawansi through these agencies, you know, and it will become a little bit harder, most especially for we, the public, the private sector, in other words, dealing directly, because sometimes dealing directly with government, it's quite a lengthy procedure, you know, bureaucracy, you have to make this, you have to sign here. But now these agencies have been like the middleman for that. To me, I feel like once they are removed, actually, it might kind of have a sort of a disruption in that. And also in line with the National Development Plan 3, it talks, the margin is actually part of that. Yeah, actually, National Development Plan 4 is supposed to be launched anytime. But anyway, it's 3, the margin aspect, because part of the key goals with the National Development Plan 3, they look towards establishing, giving the citizens services, the basic services. And now we're seeing it being part of it. But I just feel like the process of merging itself is going to come with a cost, most especially when it comes to implementation of the proposed policies for the National Development Plan 3. But I don't know what measures and repercussions would be people that are fueling this drive, what they are willing to put in place to ensure that despite what is happening, the proposed policies are still put in line.
You really know that these people that are actually trying to put this drive, they're talking about the merging. At the end of the day, they know. I know It's not that they're doing it all in the name of it's for the country, it's going to save the country. No, they have a reason they're actually doing this, because they know me as a person, at the end of the day, I'm benefiting. And when you talk about Omuntu Wawansi, these agencies are supposed to help Omuntu Wawansi.
Absolutely.
But when we go to these offices, I know the people watching right now know this. You go to these offices, you as a person that is supposed to be helped, they're telling you, go to the second floor, go to the third floor, go to office 104. Lord have mercy, just tell me we are not going to help you. Or just tell me you need me to give you 50,000. Don't make me walk around.
Okay.
This person is coming to get help, but you're treating them like they're beggars. Yes, we might be like beggars, but at the end of the day, our taxes are the ones that are paying you. You're supposed to provide me with services, but if you're not providing me with the services you're supposed to provide me with, you're telling me, go to the third floor. No, you're supposed to go to the first floor. No, the ground floor. Sometimes you feel like you just want to get this person from the desk and just put them on the desk, you bang them with a book, because they're not actually doing what they say they are doing.
I think we would agree. I would agree with you. And some agencies have not been efficient, but some have actually been. When you realize all the discussions from the members of parliament, they point more to the UNRA.
Okay.
UNRA, and they're saying, okay, why? Because some of the members of opposition are saying, why is it that when we see some agencies are efficient, you're now thinking of merging them? Remember, some of these agencies get money, donations, donor agencies. And the difference is that if UNRA, the difference with UNRA is that it's been accountable when it comes to this service delivery. And because...
Is it 100% being accountable?
Of course, Charlotte. There can't be 100% perfection of it. Even the countries that we look up to, honestly, which are scoring 72% of the corruption perception index, they're not perfect.
Yeah.
There is some element of corruption. But at least, because before its establishment, I was telling Mercy, we had less than 1,000 kilometers of tarmac roads. But now we have 7,000 kilometers of tarmac roads.
But you remember the person who actually helped have those tarmac roads be constructed more? She was put out of office.
Yeah. Okay. The thing is, we understand all that can happen, but let's take a look at the positive side of what people are doing. No person is perfect. And for the political heads out there, I think that points a big message is that staying onto a position for a long time, you make errors, let people celebrate you with what, because UNRA itself was actually at the verge of collapse, and that's the person that actually, the person he was speaking about, he was responsible for its rise to where it is. But let's at least be realistic, getting to see that they have actually done their best in ensuring that there is improvement.
Their best is not good enough, Andrew. And you see, they were emphasizing the fact that they don't want the vendors on the streets.
Yeah.
But right now, these people of KCC are actually taking it out of hand. They find someone, he has sugar canes on the road. They take the sugar canes, they take the wheelbarrow where the sugar canes are. So where is he supposed to get the capital again? Because remember, all his capital is there, and you're taking everything. This person has, let's say, tomatoes. You're taking all the tomatoes. All the capital is there.
But they're constructing gazetted places for these people, modern markets.
Yes, they are. But if the person is not inconveniencing the passerbys, personally, I feel it is okay.
But there is a lot of inconvenience, trust me.
No, not really. There are some areas where these people are inconvenienced, and it's actually sometimes out of hand. And really, actually, tell them, get off the street. You don't have to always take their things all the time. Okay, I love that they're enforcing this law, but sometimes it gets out of hand and it is too much. People are actually trying, Andrew. They are trying out there. But these people are making them look like they're not trying hard enough.
But the truth is, I think you, as a country, Uganda, we talk about development, talking about bringing. I'm pointing it out to that. But at some point, I feel like we are so comfortable where we are. Because Charlotte, I'll be honest with you, development comes with a cost.
It does.
Sometimes there is a certain class of people will be put out. At some point, there is blood, when change is to come. Because the issue here is sacrifice 100,000, save 20 million. There has to be a price to pay for development.
There has to be.
There has
That price is quite big.
It's big.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if UNRWA says that we don't want people to, be on these roadsides, I mean, it's an absolute, it's a development policy, and it has to be enforced. But because I'm seeing markets which are being, and by the way, currently, I've come to realize that suburbs seem to be making more profitable than actually city center.
Yes, they are.
Because
everyone is leaving town.
Yes, people are leaving town.
We talked about this before.
Yeah,
people are leaving those buildings. They're actually going to these areas in the small shops. They would rather have their businesses there because it is cheaper and it is closer to home more affordable. And so at the end of the day, if what they were doing was not wrong, taking these vendors' things, why is it when they see you recording, they actually tell you, why are you recording us? Why are you putting, if it is something that is okay, when they see the camera, they would continue doing what they're doing. But when they see the camera and they stop, you have to put a question mark on that.
It's classified because I don't,
it's not classified. If you're doing something in public.
In any country, I feel if it's a government operation, because in some operations you're authorized. You
would feel good if I got a video of a KCC person taking this person off the street. You're like, yeah, they're cleaning Uganda. Yeah, at the end of the day. So if this person knows what they're doing is not wrong, why don't they want to be filmed?
It's because of the propaganda the person that is recording the video is going to spread.
I don't know why you're still
which is wrong. I'm not defending them. All right, now on top of this, I think let's have some members of parliament feel further what they have to say about this matter of merging of government agencies. We shall be returning shortly.
First of all, it has come too late. Secondly, it is not going to help. Why? Because this is old wine in new bottles. It is still old wine. The people who are in those departments are the problem, not the departments. What President Museveni wants us to understand is that it is the departments. No, it is the people in those departments who are the problem. So my take on it is that I wish they had removed the bad people from those departments, other than removing departments. But there are departments which have been really very helpful. For example, UNRWA. When it comes here, I would not support that they merge UNRWA. I think it has done what it has to do and quite properly, though there are some small issues we have to look at, but they have been at least working. The other one is the public expenditure, the amount of money. Like I've been giving you an example, the vehicles which are coming here today, over 400, and even tomorrow, even the other day, even the other year. If you only calculate the fuel, because these are big vehicles, V6, V8, V12, some are petrol vehicles. If you only calculate the petrol they are using, the fuel they are using per year, it's a lot of money. My thinking is that vehicles should be given to public employees, but those people should be able to pay for those cars, and they take them as they are leaving. When you are given a vehicle, let the government chop off your salaries slowly to pay for that vehicle. Let us also forget those red numbers. Let us have ordinary numbers. Why should someone have a red number? For what now? Let us have public numbers, all of us. Then you start paying because you have public work to do. But now this vehicle, which comes here as a brand new vehicle, within 5 years, they will tell you it is old and it has to be bonded out. They purchase another one. So they have all the cars which are still new and in good condition. Then they procure new ones. And all the vehicles are there. We have here graveyards of vehicles. If you go to Ministry of Works, I know you have passed by Ministry of Health. They are there, very many. Ministry of Agriculture, they are there. That is wastage of public money. Then the president himself has created so many mini departments within a department, and those people are not known anywhere in the law. I'll tell you one department called SFC. Those ones guarding the president, those ones are not known in any law. But they get a lot of money, actually in sacks. They use the money. I don't know if you are created and you are not known by the law, how you account that for that money. It affects greatly the economy, and if the economy is affected, then the so-called Muntu Wawansi is the one who is suffering because it's the taxpayer. Now, when the money comes, in common understanding, it is supposed to go and help the so-called Muntu Wawansi. But that money, when it comes, they purchase, for example, vehicles. I know one ministry with over 200 vehicles. We've been calculating here, State House only has 420 vehicles. Now, let's even use that example. For example, if you are using 40 liters per year, per day, okay? 40 liters per day per vehicle, times 420, times a month, times a year. How much money is that? And that is only one department. So we are saying it is not a problem to give them vehicles to work, but the expenditure should be reduced drastically so that the money which is saved can go and help the so-called Omuntu Wawansi, a common man who is a taxpayer. But this money is misused and stolen and just thrown away without helping actually the owners of the money, who are the taxpayers.
Well, a huge concern in there in regards to your cause there. But also, I would love us to agree, as much as we're talking about merging agencies, talking about districts. You know, we have many districts, and we know costs that come alongside establishing a district. You know, RDC, you have put a commissioner, and so many more. The structure, the LC's chairman. You know, it's quite a huge expense that even a small vicinity like within here, we can become a district.
If these people actually keep asking for salary increment, personally, I feel, why is the government giving them a car? That is one. And then two, why is the government giving them fuel? They have salary they are being given. Let that person buy themselves a car. Let that person spend it on fuel. Because every day you have to go to work. Any company that usually gives transportation to its workers, that means the company puts the fuel in the car.
Absolutely.
And it has a driver that takes them and brings them back. So that means it is only to work. So if you're saying they're going to have these cars, even on weekends when they're going somewhere, these cars still have to take them where they're going. Why are they enjoying at our expense?
Yeah, I mean, those are part of, I would agree, actually. There are loopholes, you know, into the entire system, because we anticipate that once we merge these agencies, we shall save about $1 trillion. It's $1 trillion Ugandan shillings a year. And even it would be more than that, because if you're to also investigate the corruption bit of it that is into these agencies, seeing the corruption agencies doing what they are supposed to do, we can save more than $1 trillion, because lots of money that goes to employees.
We would save more than trillions, Andrew. They fit 3 in a car and they are all dropped at home, not taking one person in each car.
That is key.
We would save more.
Yeah, also the Member of Parliament mentioned something. We have some units, administrative, some units which are not constitutional, because most of these agencies they are legal. They were established by acts of Parliament. Yeah, but we have, most especially in the security department, we have some agencies which are not constitutional, and they have a lot of money, honestly. They have a huge budget, classified expenditures. So, since they are invisible in the Constitution, that means we can't anticipate how much money they actually get, because it's always classified. So, clearly, that would mean we would save quite a lot of money still in relation to that. Well, it's 25 minutes past 9. We're going to take a break. I'm still with Charlotte, Smart Means Business, and we return still with further insights with different experts, still in relation to the merger of government agencies. Stick around.
Smart 24, driving business.
This is Jordan. When it comes to classwork, Jordan is magic. Jordan shines. Jordan makes his peers better. Jordan is a true leader. White Star Magic family. Be a leader. Be magic.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the
Osmosis.
Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock on my shop. The signs and symptoms of success, the bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Smart 24, driving business.
Yes, a few minutes to the top of the hour, and we are discussing matters to do with the merging of government agencies. I'm with Charlotte, Ronnie Charlotte, still into this matter. Now, we've before we went into the break, we're discussing some matters to do with some of the agencies being in line when they're not actually into the constitution, and that really calls for a lot of spending. And also, if you've really observed, after an election, the government of Uganda establishes new administrative units. And yet, I would personally, according to the constitution, it suggests that these administrative units should be formed after a population census. Why? Because there has to be appropriate planning for the people. Because when you know the size of the population that you have, it will help you to plan effectively and getting to know whether you need to formulate new leadership structures or not and just proceed that way. And Charlotte, I think that is also another issue because if a population takes place every after 10 years, that means if you're formulating a new units, the data you've obtained from this will give you direction. But now, you're forming, so in a space of 10 years, we have 2 sessions of forming administrative units. Now, that is also another issue, another key issue really to look into. And government spending is definitely inevitable.
Because if we are looking at every 10 years the census to be looked at, and if they say they will keep forming agencies because the population is increasing, that would be a lie. If they actually get one building and we know this is for wildlife, if they get one building, we know that is for revenue. If they get one building, we know it's for the roads. And you feel safe. So when the population increases, you just add on the staff. You don't have to, or whatever, put up another agency. One agency would be enough for the country, no matter what. Because at the end of the day, if we know we are spending in one place and not 3 places, it would help save more. And the economy of the country would actually be moving smoothly.
Absolutely.
In one way or another.
Absolutely. Recently, we had a report where Uganda about the corruption index globally by Transparency International, which clearly showed that we hadn't shifted a bit because we scored 26%.
Yeah.
Last year in 2022, we scored 27. So we declined by 1%. Anyway, so now if we're talking about merging and reducing government expenditure, it also comes in line with corruption, because the more we have too much of these agencies, supervision is key. How are you going to monitor and evaluate and you're sure that the report which you've gotten from the evaluating officers is actually perfect? Because many agencies, remember, some of these agencies have lots of departments. Some honorable was saying forming a department within a department. So you have to audit all this. So that gives us a picture that regardless of how professional you are, you can't handle all that task. And you find that even the people that are sent to audit these people, that's another cost, by the way.
But at the end of the day, when you know it is a big agency, you find yourself having big staff.
Big staff, absolutely.
Because if they're going to make it one agency when there were 2, that means they have to keep the staff from both the agencies when they become one. Because each agency had someone that was having a specialty at something. So when you merge them and you make them one, that means the other one who had a specialty here and this one has a specialty here, you put them together. If they're both working on the data, you would have both of them work together, because this one is good in a certain area and also is this one. You cannot have one person working in one or on 2 or 3 things at the same time. It would be possible, but since it involves the whole country, you cannot have one manager. Of course, you would have like 3 managers.
Absolutely.
And we can have like floor managers. If they're like 5 to 6 floors, you put managers on each floor. And this person makes sure that the data that comes from this floor is actually looked into every day, every week, and it is good to go. And by the time the boss comes through, the manager knows what to tell the boss. So we don't have to worry about something like this. As long as whoever is employed is doing what they're supposed to do, we are safe as a country. And we don't have to worry about the losses we have to make. But if the person is put where they're supposed to do something else and they're doing something else, then we have to be worried as a country.
But even the employees of those agencies, I don't think there is really much they would also do, because we've seen what they call duplication of services. On one agency is doing all this. So how do we evaluate the performance? Because you're doing the same. Because if evaluation comes in line with your task, you're evaluated according to what you call the KPI, what the key performance indicators of that specific thing you're doing. For example, if I'm in distribution, I'm evaluated according to my distribution skills.
Yes.
If I'm in production,
You're evaluated
according to the production.
Yes.
But now we are seeing Massive doing the same, and there is not really much of a change in terms of accountability or results at the same time.
You've seen companies that actually have a target they give to their workers.
Yeah.
They tell you by the end of the week, I need to have 1 million on the account from you.
Yeah.
I need to have 20 posts from you. by the end of the month. And if you actually don't reach that target, you're either terminated or they put someone else in your position, or you're dominated. So I feel like if they are put in places and they don't do what they're supposed to do, all in the name of it is too much work, I cannot do this. If you cannot do it, there's someone who can do it. Let's get someone who can do it if you cannot reach the target. Because at the end of the day, the population here in Uganda, you can find 40 women giving birth in 1 hour. In different hospitals. That is in one hospital. So in all the hospitals we have, if women are having children every hour, every day, so if you're saying you cannot reach the target, all in the name of the work is too much, the workload is too much, I need to get someone else. By the time they put you in this job, before you knew all this, you would have told them from the very beginning,
from the very start,
I can't actually handle this. If you're telling your boss, I need to be paid 2 million shillings, that means you can reach the target the boss wants you to reach. If you're asking for 2 million shillings and you cannot give them the target they're actually asking for, you need to be fired. You need to be terminated. You need to leave the position, and they need to put someone who can actually do it. So if you're saying that they're actually going to put people in these agencies, and then we're going to have this, we're going to have that.
I don't want to say target on that. You know, they're receiving a target, but how impactful is the target achieving? If you, you know, okay, you shot the bull, but did we eat the meat?
Yeah, usually the target can be reached, and of course, we know we'll be told, it is missing a little bit, it's lacking this, it's lacking that, which at the end of the day, that's Uganda for you.
That's Uganda
They
for
would
us.
actually not tell us the truth.
Right, and now still to back this up, we have Honorable Sebamala, what he has to say, still in relation to merging of government agencies.
Very many people did not understand why ministries were disintegrated and then separated into particular entities. But it is because of the inefficiency that they say was in government then, the levels of corruption and the levels of service delivery. So we hope that if we put an institution like Uganda National Road Authority, that institution can actually particularly look at national roads and see how best we can improve only national roads. And that's its only mandate. It's not that the ministry could not do it, but we are improving the efficiency. We are improving the timelines of service delivery. We are improving on costs. We are improving on very many things. And of course, creating jobs for very many other people. And of course, the way we have realized that having one institution has become very expensive. Having an institution like Uganda National Road Authority, where you have 7 directors with cars, drivers, and fleet advisors, the executive director has 3 cars, then you go to Uganda Road Fund, the same. You go to which other entity, the same. You find that very many, we have up to around 157 entities. You go to, is it Uganda Insurance, something, you go to Uganda National Regulatory, something. Everyone is having their own things. But these can be departments of government. These can be departments of government if government can facilitate these ministries to have the expertise that those entities had. That is 1. 2, to have the space for labor. 3, to avoid duplication of the same activities. You find you give money to Uganda Road Fund, then Uganda Road Fund sends this to the districts. Why don't you send money to the districts directly? Where is the problem? And then you send them regulations. Then, if you've sent money directly, you find that Uganda Road Fund will have a monitoring and evaluation, but Ministry of Finance has a monitoring and evaluation team. Ministry of Works has a monitoring and evaluation team. Why don't these people go direct and do the monitoring and evaluation down at the districts? Why the duplication? So it has become so expensive for the 150 as we speak to be paid in over 100 years. Now, unless we cut costs, there is no way we are going to pay this debt. So we have to come up with mechanisms of how we can cut costs of service delivery or cost of government expenditure. Now, the best thing to do is to first reduce the numbers of what? To reduce the entities or merge the entities such that they can go into the salary structure of government. You find that somebody has someone, an executive director has 3 cars, has a salary of 40 million, has very many, incentives added to that, gratuity, NSSF, and all those things. But then a permanent secretary is in the government, will be getting, he's around 5 or 10 million, and then when he retires, his pension will be given to him. So you will have, destroyed all this, and then all that money will go back to government. Of course, there is a threat that the people that are leaving these entities, where will they work? And what will they do? But we are blessed with a vast economy that has a lot of untapped potential in tourism, in the restaurant industry. You find that one person, Mandela, can have 40 restaurants. So and yet there is demand for more, because he's around town, but we want one in Lansana, which he has not yet put. We want one in Hoima, which he has not yet put. So there is a lot of vast potential. They come up with they go and do industries. They come up with industries in southern Sudan, to maybe mattress industries, industries that make mattresses. Come up with a coffee industry in Eastern Congo or Northern Kivu. Come up with mineral processing, because you now land and you have the money and you're going to be given money. Go out there and spend it on things that you can. There are very many things that you can invest in that are beyond us. The world is now global. It is one global market that you today you are in the video. As I'm in my garden in Chana Mukaka. I've already talked to the buyer of the same matoke in London, and they expect it on board over whatever airline or Ethiopian Airlines in the next 8 hours. So these are people that we expect to be at that level. By the time they have left, they have laid a very good bed and they are moving on to the next level of the economy. We don't expect the others will join politics. She's also the place to come. Let they come and, tussle it out here in Parliament and started somewhere. You cannot believe that at one time I was a taxi conductor, but I'm now a member of Parliament and I've come through the phases, from one phase to the other. I worked as an intern in Zimwe. I worked as a contractor in my own company. When there was no capital, I worked for government as a municipal parliament. From parliament, I don't know where I'm going. Maybe it's African community, because it's not the end of the world. There's this African community. No, there is a fear for change. Change is a factor that no one wants, but it has come. So if we are dissolving these entities because we want to improve service delivery and also cut cost of service delivery and also be able to pay the debt to the country, let's do that. Everyone knows that at the moment our debt burden is going to 100 trillion. It is going to 100 trillion, but when you look at our levels of income, our status of revenue, where are we getting the money? We are getting money from licenses. We are getting money from mineral processing. We are getting money from telecom companies. We are getting money from agriculture. We are getting money from fish. Okay, it is agriculture, animal husbandry, and fisheries. We are getting money. Actually, you find that the biggest part of our economy is a consumer kind of industry, and we are not processing. It is not one that is earning revenue by exporting particular products to different countries. If we are manufacturing buses here and sending them to northern Sudan or southern Sudan, and then the government would be making money. If there is something that we are selling out there, in particular, that we had monopolized and we are the key people that are selling, even if it is a technology or a service or something, you would find that we are earning. But the government currently is earning from its own people. It is earning from the taxes it gets from its own people. You come up with your own idea, you're the entrepreneur, you invest your own money, maybe by loan, or if you've not borrowed it, you have partnered with a rich person. If you've not, you've gotten an idea and you have worked hard to get this money and go into an idea, and then government comes later and taxes you for it. This is how most of these people are getting their money, and then government has been getting money from it. But now that money is not there. We are from COVID. The economy was hit beyond COVID. The levels of corruption have been very high in these particular entities. People are mafias, they are planning this and that. So you find that there is no money completely. So the best way to cut costs is to make sure that you merge some of these entities. The money that was going to all those thousands of people that can be, that can be taken by a few, and then they deliver the same services, can be saved, and then we go ahead to pay our debt burden. Not to forget that the only reason we are here also is because a lot of money was borrowed, but it did not work. It did not go to what it was borrowed for. So you find that now we are in a dilemma. We are merging because of service delivery. But also if you ask, okay, you borrowed 57 billion for Narubali. Where is it? What did you do with that 57 billion when you came in 1987? You find that that money is nowhere to be seen. So that is where the problem is. A lot of money was borrowed. It has not gone to deliver. Because now all the money that we have borrowed for the oil, it can be now like $4 billion. The oil is not yet out of the soil. So we are not earning from the oil. Yet we are supposed to pay. It is time to pay for the money we borrowed. Meanwhile, we see billions of money in entities that are duplicating things. So we are saying, no, let's merge all of these institutions into one. Then we can get enough money to pay off our debt as we wait for the oil to get out of the soil. So it's a mixture of very many things. But what I can tell you is at the moment, the levels of poverty are very high because there's a lot of money that has been borrowed and has to be paid back, yet the services it was borrowed for have not yet been delivered to the people for them to earn from the services themselves.
That is Honorable Savamala definitely giving us insights in relation to the margin of the different government agencies. Of course, he has mentioned it all, and I believe it's been quite insightful in that line. We borrow quite a lot of money, and surprisingly, most of this money that we borrow, we borrow to pay salaries. It's not charged on development matters, but in line with the luxury expenditure, buying cars and many more for the different government officials. I know, Charlotte,
know you.
You don't seem. I can see. Your mood is totally off when it comes to.
When it comes to spending our taxes, I actually feel bad. These people in the parliament, the ministers and everything, the money they earn, the civil servants are actually earning a lot of money. We are seeing Ugandans leaving office jobs because the taxes are high, the standard of living is high. And the money they are getting in the offices is very little. All because our government officials are very selfish.
They are selfish.
They are very selfish because they keep targeting us, the citizens.
Okay.
For them to actually be happy, for them to actually get what they want. And at the end of the day, it is us that are actually squeezed. That's what happens. So if the government officials are being selfish and they're talking about borrowing money and it doesn't do what exactly it's supposed to do, you as a citizen, of course, you'd be like me, you'd be angry. Right now,
somebody was telling me something. Because of the systems we experience here in Africa, surprisingly, he was mentioning something with religion and development. It's never in Africa. If somebody got a passport to fly out, they got a visa, they got a certificate.
Would you come back? Usually they ask them, would you come back? They're like, come back to where?
What? But in Europe, getting a passport to go to America is a normal thing. It's a day-to-day thing. They don't have to put lots of gymnastics around it. It's part of them. The system favors them, and which is otherwise in our country, Uganda, causing the frustrations that we're going through.
Yeah, to get a passport in your own country as a citizen, they ask you to go bring your dead mother Did you bring a death certificate? A death certificate of your father if your parents are not there. You have to prove that you're this tribe you're saying that you are. They actually bring you someone that works in the office to actually speak the language you claim you know. And sometimes you find people say, okay, I was born in Kabale, but I can't speak Luchiga. And are you going to force me to speak Luchiga? Because you know, parents these days, we end up saying, I don't want my child speaking Luganda. I don't want my child speaking this language. I want my child to speak English. So you find that the child has grown up without knowing that language, actually the mother tongue. So if they refuse to give me a passport as a Ugandan citizen and they're actually giving it to a foreigner because the foreigner has more money than me, what does this say about the country? Even after they say they've improved the structure, the system to actually make it easier for the Ugandan citizen. You find Ugandan citizens on the streets crying. They're saying, "Vanange misolo." The schools, you're seeing, if they can actually put a particular fee and say, you know what, schools, this is the maximum you're supposed to charge. It would be good for the parents.
Yeah, actually, speaking about that, it reminds me of some countries which have what we call a consumers protections unit.
Yes.
Whereby all goods and services that are distributed regionally are standardized. Because here it's a country where we have, actually, if we are talking about agencies, let's talk about, okay, you've marked these agencies, but we can think of creating new agencies which are going to be vital, like the consumers protection unit.
Yes.
Whereby, because
that one, we need it, and they need to make a very big office in Kampala, a very big one.
All right, so Charlotte urges the government to form the consumers protection unit to avoid exploitation of most consumers. You see, you find the taxi can charge you an amount of money at once, but
and
there's nothing you're going to say.
And then when you step out, usually when you're getting into these taxis, the guy will tell you it's 1,000, but make a mistake of giving him 2,000. He'll pick the 2,000, enter the taxi, and drive away. There's nothing you're going to do about it.
Absolutely.
And you're going to let it go. Anyways, it's been a lovely day for me, but personally, out there to all our viewers, thank you for joining us since morning. And of course, right now, I'd like to urge all the parents out there, the kids are back to school, but also child trafficking is on the rise. Yesterday, 83 kids were rescued because they were going to be trafficked. They were being taken somewhere. They were taken from Busoga, and some of them were taken from different areas. And you find the kids were saying, the parents themselves are actually letting it slide because these people are actually giving them money. Don't sell your child for money. Yes, they say money is the root of all evil. Money is good, but at some point, you need your child. You can't do it. This child could be the future president or the future doctor of somewhere. So, and also, alcohol is causing the rise of cancer everywhere. We have a lot of cancer because of the alcohol. So, consumers, consume wisely.
And you know, there is a huge bill of cancer. Somebody was telling me, I visited somebody and they're treating a daughter with cervical, not cervical cancer. I think leukemia, blood cancer. It tells you that I've so far spent 50 million.
But already here the government is seeking 228 billion shillings for
three cancer centers.
Yes.
For facilities, hope it's not for paying staff. Anyway, that brings us to the end of today's show, Smart Men's Business. We shall catch up again tomorrow. Go be productive for the day and take care. Good morning.